In the navigation world, there's lots of different tips, tricks and tools that we use. And one of these tools is the 5 Ds. And the 5 Ds stand for direction, distance, duration, description and destination. And it's a handy little tool if you're leading a group. You don't want to be walking out in front of the group, be heading the map. It allows you to lead the group but knowing where you are on the map at all times. There's variations of the 5 Ds. Some people teach the 3 Ds, and I've even seen up to the 7 Ds. But here at Boot Routes, we teach the 5 Ds, and it seems to work. So what follows is a short video of me demonstrating the 5 Ds. So grab a brew and enjoy. So today's route is a short circular walk, and I'm going to demonstrate the 5 Ds in action. So the route are broken down into 5 separate legs, so that gives me 5 opportunities to practice the 5 Ds. So we're at the start of the route at the car park, and the first D is direction. So at the car park here, put the edge of the compass or one of the parallel lines on the direction that we're going. Importantly, the directional arrow is pointing where we're going. Rotate the bezel around so the orientating line's in the middle of the bezel. Match the grid lines on the map. Take the map away from the compass, put red thread in the shed, and that's the way we're going. And my next D is distance. So I'm measuring the distance from the car park here to the end of my first leg, which is at the corner of that reservoir there. So I'm using the millimetres on this occasion. You could use your Roma on the 1:25 Roma on your compass. On this occasion I'm using the millimetres because I find that's more accurate. And that's a total of half a kilometre. And my next D is duration. And using my timing card, I know I normally walk at 4 kilometres an hour, and half a kilometre, 500 metres, should take 7.5 minutes. So we've looked at the first 3 Ds: direction, distance and duration. And the next D is description. And this is the most important one for me, and especially if I'm with a group. The group do not want a leader that's walking in front with their head in the map all the time. You want to be focusing on your group. So before I set off, I'm going to tell myself a little bit of a story. What am I going to see on the way? And these are what we call tick-off points or collecting features. So on this short leg, the first tick-off point is the bend in the track. The next tick-off point is the edge of the woodland, where there should be a boundary going down to the right-hand side. My next tick-off point is a bend in the track in the woodland. Just a little bit further on from that, there should be boundaries in the woodland left and right. A little bit further on from that, there should be a footpath off to the left, some sort of building on the right-hand side, and then we should be coming to our end location. So as we're walking, I want that story to unfold in front of me. And if that story doesn't unfold, then you've gone wrong somewhere. So we've covered all the tick-off points on this short leg. Let's see if the story unfolds in front of us. So we're just approaching our first tick-off point, and this is the bend in the track. And you can see it's going around to the left, which is what we expected. And we're approaching the edge of the woodland. And you can see there's a boundary, which on this occasion is a wall running down towards the reservoir. So that's tick off number 2. And my next tick off point was the bend in the track. We're just approaching the apex of the bend in the track. So that's tick off number 3, confirmed. We've already had 3 tick off points confirming we're going in the right direction, and that matched the story that we told at the start of the leg. And the next tick off points are boundaries left and right in the woodland. We can just make out remnants of a boundary going down to the right, and if you look very carefully you can just make out the remnants of the wall going up onto the left. My next tick off point was a footpath up to the left and a building to the right opposite. And we're just approaching the footpath to the left, and you can see the building opposite. So that was my last tick off point. I now need to start switching on to find the end location. And the last D is destination. And I believe I've arrived at my end location. I'm at the destination that I was aiming for, the end of the first leg. And I'm looking for as many features as possible to confirm I'm at this location. About 3 or 4 if possible. I've got a track running up to the left-hand side of the reservoir. I'm at the bottom corner of the reservoir. And then I've got this track going over the reservoir dam wall. I've got this reservoir overflow going down to the next level. So once we are 100% happy that we are at the end of the first leg, then we can start looking towards the next leg. So we're here, and our end of our next leg is up at the bottom of Yatome Reservoir, where the track comes up and then it levels out. So the first D is direction. I'm going to take a quick half bearing to confirm my direction of travel. So I put the edge of the compass, or one of the parallel lines, along this dam wall. That's the way we're going to be heading. And then I rotate it so the magnetic needle points to the top of the map, and my directional arrow is pointing me in that direction there. And my next D is distance. So I'm going to measure the distance from the start of the leg up to the end of the second leg. I'm using millimetres to measure the distance because that's more accurate. However, if you're not good with maths, you could potentially use your 1:25 Roma on the compass. And this next leg is 630 metres. So the next D is duration. Walking at a walking pace of 4 kilometres an hour. 600 metres takes me 9 minutes. And then 30 metres isn't on here, but just under 50 metres, 3/4 of a minute, sort of 45 seconds. So I'm looking at about 9.5 minutes. I'll set my watch. My next D is description. What am I going to see on the way? There's some sort of a little feature sticking out into the middle of the reservoir. And then we get to the boundary, left and right, into some track. There's some open area, so the white area there. So there's no woodland there. And then we go into some woodland. And it opens up a little bit. There's a bit of a clearing, and there's a couple of boundaries off to the right-hand side. And then we're going to come to a footpath on the right, and then there's a track running the opposite direction. A bend in the track, and then we're going to be going slightly uphill towards the next dam wall. So we've done the first 3 Ds. Direction, I've taken a quick half bearing to confirm my direction of travel. Measured the distance, and it's 630 metres. I'm walking at 4 kilometres an hour. I've got 9.5 minutes for my duration. I've told a little bit of a story, a description, what I'm going to see. So let's see if we can find these tick-off points. And here's my first tick-off point. This feature that was sticking out into the reservoir. And as we're approaching the end of the reservoir, we've got boundaries left and right. And here's the open area that was on the map, the white area. No woodland. And my next tick-off point was the edge of the woodland. So we're just getting into the woodland, left and right. And the next part of the story that I told was I expected it to open up a little bit with a couple of boundaries to the right. There's one boundary. And there's the second boundary. See, this is a little bit of an opening, but there are 1 or 2 trees that are starting to grow. And my next tick-off point was a footpath to the right, and you just can make out there the stile, and there's a footpath sign on the post. And directly opposite there was a track, and there's a track running up to the left side of the reservoir. So the story is unfolding. And the next part of the story was a slight uphill towards the bottom of the next dam wall, and the terrain's definitely changed now. We're going slightly uphill, more noticeable. So I've arrived at the end of leg 2, the final destination. So I need to find a few features to confirm I am where I think I am. So I've just walked up there, got a track running along the bottom end parallel with this reservoir wall. The reservoir dam wall there. Got one corner of the banking over there. And I've got a little bit of a clearing area here. And when I'm looking to confirm that I'm at the destination, I'm looking for 3 or 4 features. And if possible, I want contour features, because I know they never change. That's my first colour, brown. If possible, blue, water features. Not always possible, so on this occasion, I'm just relying on the dam wall and black, man-made features, i.e. tracks and boundaries. But the tally, everything here is tallying up to the map. So I am happy that I am at the end of leg 2. I'm at my destination. And if I'm not happy, I'm not going to carry on. I'm going to reassess and confirm I am 100% happy that I am where I think I am. Because if I carry on, everything beyond here is all going to be wrong as well. So the 5 days start all over again. This is the start of leg 3. And this next leg we're going from here on this track up to this feature here. And it's a good feature to stop at that. It's got contours, brown. It's got water feature, blue. It's got boundaries and a bend in the track, black. And it's got the green, the forestry. And the first D is direction. And I generally do a quick half bearing. It takes a couple of seconds tops. So I put the edge of the compass on the track I'm going on with the directional arrow at the front of the compass pointing in the direction I want to be going. So holding the map and compass together, rotate it around so the magnetic needle points to the top of the map and my directional arrow is pointing me in that direction. My next D is distance. So using my millimetre scale, I've measured the distance up to there, and that's 900 metres. My next D is duration. 900 metres at 4 kilometres an hour is 13.5 minutes. So I'll set my watch. So my next D is description. So what am I going to see on the way? Following this track along the bottom of the dam wall, bending the track, then there's this little feature here, which we're going to stop at. That's on the right hand bend in the track. So we'll stop and have a look at that little feature. Carry on, and then the track opens up left and right. And then there's another boundary to left and right. And then we're handrailing the stream to the right. We actually go over a stream here, carry on uphill, and then we come to our end destination. So let's see if that story unfolds. Next tick-off point, bending the track. The next tick-off point is that little interesting feature to the right. If we look at it, we've got a little bit of an enclosure. There's a wall all the way around here. And right bang in the middle, there's the start of a stream. With that tiny little feature on the map, there's so much detail here. And here I was expecting the walls to open up either side. Certainly opens up on the right. And it's opened up on the left as well. So the story is unfolding as expected. I can enjoy the walk, I can look at some of the wildlife. I don't have my head buried in a map, but I know where I am at all times. And this was my next tick-off point. A couple of boundaries with the overflow, and I'm now handrailing a stream to my right, which I can hear down in the bottom of the valley. And my next tick-off point was crossing over a stream. And I also mentioned that the terrain was going to change, and we're just starting to go uphill a little bit. So that's me at the end of leg 3. Just to check on the last D destination. I'm looking for as many features as possible to confirm I am where I think I am. So the first thing I've got is this little bit of a valley, the contours on the map. And the second thing I've got is this stream running under the track. And the next thing I've got is this bend in the track going over the stream. We've got remnants of 1 or 2 boundaries as well. We've got 4 features, brown, blue and black. You could even include the woodland. And for the next leg, the 5 Ds start all over again. So there you have it, the 5 Ds in practice. A live demonstration of the 5 Ds. Would encourage you to get out and practice. And always try and find as many tick-off points as possible.